Do you ever ponder on the plight of religious minorities in Afghanistan, especially under the Taliban rule? A question that unearths a gamut of emotions and experiences, especially for the Hindus and Sikhs residing in the country. These communities, although integral to the colorful tapestry of Afghan society, represent less than 0.3% of the population. Despite their small numbers, these communities have had to bear the brunt of ongoing threats and violence, a testament to the adversity they face daily. Historically, the Taliban's treatment towards these groups has been far from amicable, leading to an understandable atmosphere of fear and skepticism. The swift and unexpected takeover of Kabul by the Taliban in August 2021 sent shockwaves around the world, especially among these religious minorities. Their concerns were not without reason. The history of oppression and violence perpetrated by the Taliban has left many in these communities skeptical of the assurances of safety given by the group. In the face of such adversity, these communities continue to demonstrate resilience, with some individuals choosing to stay behind despite the risks, underlining the complex and challenging situation they face. Yet in the midst of such a challenging situation, an unexpected turn of events is beginning to unfold. To understand the significance of the recent developments, it is important to journey back in time and explore the historical context. The late 70s and early 80s were a period of political turmoil in Afghanistan, a time when the Soviet Union was flexing its muscles in the region. This period saw the beginning of an exodus, a mass departure of Hindu and Sikh communities from Afghanistan. The reasons for this exodus were manifold: the Soviet invasion, the rise of political instability, and the growing intolerance towards religious minorities all played a part. These communities, which had once thrived in Afghanistan, found themselves being marginalized and their lives uprooted. As the years passed, the situation didn't improve. Warlords linked to the previous regime usurped the lands of these religious minorities. The displacement of these communities was not just physical, but also social and economic. They lost their homes, their livelihoods, and their place in society. The Hindu and Sikh communities were not just victims of circumstances, they were victims of systemic oppression and discrimination. Their lands, their properties, and their rights were taken away from them. The once vibrant Hindu and Sikh communities were reduced to a small, marginalized minority living in fear and uncertainty. Fast forward to the turn of the century, these communities found themselves in the midst of another political upheaval. The rise of the Taliban marked a new chapter in Afghanistan's history. The future seemed bleak for these religious minorities. The Taliban's regime, known for its strict interpretation of Islamic law, was not seen as a promising prospect for the Hindu and Sikh communities. With the change in regime, the future of these religious minorities seemed bleak until a surprising decision by the Taliban. In a move that defied expectations, the Taliban decided to return private land to Hindu and Sikh minorities. This decision, a far cry from the group's past actions, has taken many by surprise. The Taliban has moved to reclaim properties from warlords linked to the previous regime, aiming to rectify the injustices faced by these religious minorities who have suffered displacement and marginalization for decades. In an effort to ensure the successful implementation of this initiative, a commission has been established. This body is tasked with returning usurped properties to their rightful owners, providing a glimmer of hope for those who have long yearned to reclaim their lost homes. A notable development amidst these changes is the return of Narendra Singh Khalsa. As a member of parliament, Khalsa represents the Hindu and Sikh communities in Afghanistan. His comeback is not just a personal triumph but also symbolizes the potential for a renewed political voice for these communities under the Taliban rule. This shift in the Taliban's approach has also been noticed on the international stage, particularly in India. Despite past tensions and the complexities of regional politics, there are signs of a thaw in relations between the Taliban and India. Indian officials have perceived this land return initiative as a positive gesture, suggesting a potential pivot in their stance towards the Taliban. This could have far-reaching implications for the geopolitical dynamics of the region. However, it's important to remember that this is just the beginning. There's a long road ahead in ensuring the safety, dignity, and rights of Hindu and Sikh minorities in Afghanistan. And while this decision by the Taliban is a step in the right direction, it's crucial to continue monitoring the situation closely. This unprecedented move by the Taliban has sparked hope and intrigue, opening up a new chapter in the tale of religious minorities in Afghanistan. We can only wait and watch as this story unfolds, hoping for a future where religious diversity is respected and protected. So, what does this all mean for the future of religious minorities in Afghanistan? As we've seen, the situation is a tapestry of historical struggle, recent developments, and a future that hangs in the balance. A timeline of events shows a mass exodus of religious minorities, primarily Hindus and Sikhs, that began in the late 70s and 80s, due to political upheaval and the Soviet invasion. Fast forward to today, and we see a somewhat unexpected turn. The Taliban, now in control, is making moves to return lands to these religious minorities, a gesture that, while seen with skepticism, has sparked a glimmer of cautious optimism. In the midst of this, the international community, including India, watches closely. The potential implications of these actions are far-reaching, affecting regional relationships and the perception of the Taliban. Yet the heart of the matter remains with the religious minorities themselves. Their hope, their fear, their uncertainty are the human elements that underscore this complex narrative. As we continue to observe the unfolding events, one thing is certain. The plight of religious minorities in Afghanistan is a complex narrative interwoven with history, politics, and hope. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of a complex and deeply human issue. If you found this content insightful, please consider subscribing to our channel for more in-depth analysis and discussions on similar topics. Your support helps us continue to bring these important stories to light. And remember, understanding the world around us is the first step towards making it a better place. So, until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay safe.